Welcome to a very special episode of the Akashic Musings podcast, where I'm here with Alyssia. She and I were in a mastermind, if you would call it, but we were in it years ago together and we recently reconnected. And I just felt really, really drawn to creating a space where spirit could speak through us. And I love what she's doing, and I love what she's about, and I love her vibe. So, Chris, can you introduce who you are and then share what spirit is bringing through you right now?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. You were the first one I reached out to when I started coming back into spiritual practice. And you're always so present in my feed that you're never far from my mind.
Thank you.
Like I said, my name is Alyssia. I am the founder of Ascended Warrior, which was originally a foundation I created to bring spirituality to veterans. I had joined the military out of high school, and I learned through that experience that part of the process of becoming a soldier was severing yourself from spirit. And I'd always been a spiritual person. So when I went in and I wanted to get ahead, I wanted to blend, I wanted to be a part of that community, I cut that side of myself out. So when I left the military, broken and really unclear as to why I was so broken, I started my spiritual journey in truth. And I realized what I had done. So I know that experience and how it's affected so many veterans, and you come out so confused as to why you're not whole. So that is why I created Ascended Warrior. Since discovering that I was broken and the reason for it, my journey has led me everywhere in the world. I've traveled to more than 30 countries. I've been to spiritual sites all over the place, both for the military and for spirit. And each time I go someplace, I get this new puzzle piece as to the overall purpose of life. Reading Michael Newton's book, Journey of the Souls, talking about what we do when we're not incarnated and how purposeful our existences is, led me on a whole new journey. And I started to ask my guides and angels, I was like, what is it that I'm doing? Why do I keep getting all this random information to a picture that I can't really see? And what I heard was that I was a spiritual conductor, someone who could see the different notes that were being played in the pattern and how they fit into the overall symphony. So I really leaned into that. I still do work with the military. And for a while, I went back into that because I have to pay my bills. Um, but this part was always there. And I've started bringing that energy, that knowing into DoD spaces, which just freaks them out because they know I'm different and they don't know why. But this last summer, I've been getting tapped by spirit over and over and over again. You have to start talking about what's going on in the world from that conductor. You have to show people what you're seeing and why these notes are being played at this time, what they mean for individual souls, what they mean for the soul collective, and what they mean for Gaia. And I was very nervous about it. I'm not gonna lie. I was very nervous about coming out and sharing it because it's a mix of channeling in messages, allowing spirit to tell me on air that I'm wrong and to correct what I'm saying, and just being very raw in the delivery of information, not editing what's coming out, because they're so present with us, our guides and our angels right now. It's time for us to work. It's time for light workers to work. And they're so eager for us to stand in this space and to step into these roles that we've been training for our entire lives. So that's why I started the podcast, and I call it Spiritual Codes for a Shifting World, because it's all about taking what events are going on in the world that are making us feel the most 3D, the most human, and stepping back and saying, what is the spiritual purpose of this? And reframing everything completely. And so far, I asked Spirit what I should talk about. And they're really sensitive topics. I've gone into the US economy. I've talked about Trump, talked about the war in Gaza last night. It's looking at this not as a human, but as a spiritual being having a human experience. And I'm loving the information that they're coming out with. But the number one message is that it is time. It is the time of the light worker. We have to stand in our light. And by doing so, we'll heal both the earth and help awaken the other souls that are ready to awaken. But know that this is intentional. It is purposeful that these things are happening. And not only don't lose faith, but be excited about it.
I feel that too. I feel this excitement around
Yes.
as well. And not just within myself, but I feel this collectively. I feel it in the people around me. Just this, I felt an energetic opening for a while there. And it really led into this momentum, this excitement. But what's beautiful about it is that it's a grounded excitement. It's an intentional one. It's not frenetic and all over the place and misdirected, right?
Yeah.
Towards something that we might have an idea of in our minds. And what I would ask you is, in all that you've been doing, which is amazing and so brave of you to be able to come forward and just speak about these concepts that, like you said, are very sensitive and are
Yeah.
hot buttons in a lot of ways. So thank you for doing that and providing that service. And also, what do you feel when you say the light workers are being called to work? What are they being called to do? Like, what do you mean by that for people who are listening?
There's a couple images that have constantly been coming in to me. The first one it started years and years and years ago. I had asked Spirit how light workers were meant to, like, what was our purpose? What was a light worker? Why the term? Why are we here? And I saw this image of a dark room, and the ceiling was covered with light bulbs, but they were all blacked out. And all of a sudden, in one of the corners, one of them started to squeak on, and it just started to flicker and turn on. And it raised the light of the entire room. And then another light bulb would start to turn on as if it had been inspired by what it had seen. And each one that turned on made the room brighter, and it made it easier for other lights to turn on. So just being as light workers, being in ourselves, being present, being in joy, is affecting the collective. It is encouraging other lights to turn on. And there's nothing that we have to do in that sense other than practice what we preach. Don't get sucked into the 3D. Don't live in fear. Don't let the insecurities and that kind of fear culture that's in the media knock you off of your equilibrium. Mm-hmm. It's not real. It's not real for any of us. And if you believe that and you hold that light, it transmits out and affects everything.
Right. So it's really like a calling forward into embodiment.
Absolutely. And also to ground in. That's another message I've been getting a lot, because Gaia is going through this shift as well. She's got her own evolution and ascension that she's going through. So that does include a lot of natural transitions, a lot of natural disasters, a lot of quaking and things that to us look very disastrous. But for her, it's her awakening and her moving into frequency. So I see us, the second vision that I had was us like grounding in, literally seeing roots come out of our bodies, and a tornado of 3D energy just passing right by us, like it could do nothing to touch us. As we ground in, we're helping her equilibrium. We're helping to let her know that she's supported and loved. We're protecting ourselves from that 3D energy. And also, we're able to pull other energetic bodies out of that vortex of shenanigans. Just by being, they can see it and feel it. And even when we have conversations like this, you can feel the level of calm just really settle in. It makes you speak slower. It makes your body feel heavier. We can do that for each other on a global scale, just by staying present, staying grounded, and not getting sucked into that tornado of, I said the tornado shenanigans is the term that always comes to mind.
The human sauce is what I call it. Yeah. And it's really funny that we're having this conversation today, because It's recorded a module for a self-trust program that I'm doing. It's called the Self-Trust Challenge. And it's been coming forward for this exact reason that I was drawn to do it earlier in the summer, and I kept getting nudges, nudges, nudges. And I finally said, all right, I'm putting this out there because it's about what you're saying. It's about being able to be anchored and unwavering in your knowing, in
Yeah.
your truth, in your embodiment, who you are, how your energy is meant to express divinity during this time. And to be able to, the module I did today was being able to be in space with this while you still receive naysayers,
Yeah.
chaotic energy, dissonant feedback, and being able to not only maintain your truth and feel it within your body, but allow it to expand.
Mm.
Allow it to expand when you're receiving feedback, even dissonant feedback, being grateful for it all and responding from a place of very calm, clear, loving intention.
Yeah.
That's the work, man. And that's not easy with the human system.
No, no, not at all. And I love it. It's a silly exercise, but when I go into an airport, I find airports the most chaotic places in the world. I don't know why people's energy just goes all wonky. I love walking down the center of the hallways in an airport and just opening my light up and
Mm.
just walking down the hall. I know you are all stressed out, but you're sovereign beings. We're all going to be okay. Just, I don't need to say a word. I'm just walking down, envisioning this ball of light around me, just moving through the airport. And it's a fun game that I've done over the years. Who knows if they feel it or not? It's not really the point, but it makes a difference. It really does. How
It
we show
does.
up.
Because it's just like, when people pray together, when people meditate together, it expands, right? And
Yeah.
it's that combination of intention. It's the recognition that our intentions, our thoughts, our desires, our energy, when we place it intentionally out into the field, or even when we place it in the field, even if it's not intentional, it's sticky, right? This is energy that then attracts to other energies or gets repelled by other energies. And when they come together and they come into form, right? They gather and then they compound and they come into form. This is how we create new ways of being. This is how we
Yeah.
create new realities here on this planet. And so they absolutely feel it, whether they're aware that they feel it,
Yeah.
right? They may not be aware that they feel it, but they definitely feel it. And I think it truly can be that simple as visualizing this ball of light like you described and sending it out. We all know this feeling when we think of our grandmother or we think of
Mm.
somebody that we love and we send them love. It's like, oh, thinking of them. And then they'll call you. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I was just thinking of you. Like we all know this feeling. It's happened to us multiple times. This is how casting energy works. This is how energy exchange works. And so it's absolutely effective. And I love that you're speaking to it because we all need more awareness of that, the fact that we can influence each other in this way.
Mhm.
And one of the ways that I have taught some of my clients and even my loved ones to do this is in relationship. One of the hardest parts of the human experience is relationship, especially our closest relationships.
Mm.
And so coming into space with those where there might be conflict or a difference of opinion, or we got to figure something out, it's like, okay, instead of talking about any of it, don't even bring words into it. Sit in space with one another. Sit across from one another. You can touch hands,
Mm.
or you can not touch at all. You can gaze into each other's eyes, or you can just simply close your eyes down and just be in presence with the other person's energy and be present there until that tornado you're talking about settles, because it's going to.
Yeah.
And when we practice this, we recognize the purity of each other's presence and the fact that we have a mutual goal. Just like you said, walking through the airport, we're all going to be okay. Like we all want the same thing. We all want to be okay. We all want to support one another. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's gonna settle. And I
Mm.
think that there's too much freaking talking
Yeah.
in all of this, and less intention and just presence and knowing of your impact, just letting your heart expand.
Absolutely. And recognizing that they're sovereign beings too. It's something that, as a whole, the world just isn't, it's not that they're not willing to see it. It's like the media doesn't want them to see it. Like, look away. That person's not as important as you. Oh no, don't worry about their pain. But when you reframe that and say, well, we're all souls, we're all made of the same energy. What could be going on in their lives that led to this? What is their soul experience? What is their soul journey at this time? It's taking like that whole walk in their shoes thing and then exponentially expanding it. They're sovereign beings. So if you look at them that way, it can take a lot of the charge out of the arguments. I know it certainly does for my husband and I. It's not that we don't have arguments, but I recognize his soul path is different than mine. And I recognize the lanes that he wants to take. Mm-hmm. And there's intentional purpose behind that. I can't say whether that's right or wrong, because for him, it's perfect. And that helps. It really does.
And I actually love it, because when we adopt curiosity, which it feels like is part of what you're talking about,
oh yeah,
this curious lens, we learn more about how the divine expresses through humanity. And I'm like, that to me is the best freaking part. Because I'm like, yeah, I want to know more about the infinite, right? Like, I want to know more about how spirit like delivers gifts through subtle nuance through different people, so I can learn about different pockets that we can play with and tap into and experience and sensation. Like, that's what we're meant to do here.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's cool, because it can come up as a rub a little bit between one person and another, like you said, when this person's path is this way and your path is that way. But that's also that coming into space with letting the energy settle, because all that is an expansion of our consciousness to, I can hold both. There's space for both, and there's space for more than both.
And there's a reason that it's happening. I've especially from the Newton's work, and really looking at incarnation as if it's a class. You know, I write this beautiful syllabus for myself before I come into body. I'm like, you know what? I really need to take this class. I failed this class last time. I'm definitely going to take this twice. Maybe I'll have to like plus it up. But you've got this beautiful syllabus that you have to learn. So when something's happening to me that I find challenging, I often go into meditation and I say, okay, where in the syllabus is this listed? Why is this happening? What opportunity am I being given to learn? And often our greatest teachers are the ones we find the most contentious, our family members, especially blood relatives. We choose this wonderful group of actors around us to play roles in our experience, and we play roles in their experience. And it's important to understand where in the syllabus they like, what's the purpose, the soul purpose. It makes forgiving no longer even necessary, because it's just a divine thing that it happened. It was meant to happen. You chose for it to happen for a reason. And that's amazing.
Thank you so much for saying that. You can probably see the look on my face. Those of you who are listening on podcast, I apologize that you can't see the look on my face when I was like, thank you, God. Because I say that all the time, where I'm like, forgiveness implies that there's something to forgive.
Yeah.
If we came into an acceptance, an appreciation, a celebration of everything that happens to unfold all that we are into all that we are becoming, all that we have been into all that we're becoming and being invited into. And there's always an invitation. I remember when I was recovering from having sepsis, and I would have these bouts where I would feel really sick again. And I'd be like, what am I doing wrong? And what is missing here? And where's the lesson? And what am I supposed to learn? And instead, what spirit kept telling me was, you're not doing anything wrong. I'm simply signaling you to invite you deeper, to invite you further into your soul's invitation.
Yeah.
And that's what my work is all about now, right? It's about being able to choose that before we have to get those signals from the body, the emotional experience, and really recognize that everything is truly an invitation.
I love saying spirit is not gentle. If you don't hear the invitation, they're gonna make things uncomfortable for you until you recognize, hey, we're trying to help here. My dad loves to call it unfeathering the nest. Spirit will
Mm.
just pull one feather out at a time until it's so uncomfortable for you to be in this thing that you are going to change.
Right. I mean, spirit's the ultimate parent. Like,
Yeah,
isn't that what
really
we do?
are.
It's like, let me just keep reflecting to you the areas where it is very clear you are not comfortable or not seeing yourself in the way that you desire. It's not like, this is just a big puppeteer match up there, right? We have free will to do these things, but it's like we look at somebody who says, this is my goal, this is my goal, this is my goal, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. And then they keep sabotaging themselves. And you want
Absolutely.
to shake them and be like, what the hell? Like, you're not acting in accordance with what you're saying you desire and
Right.
you're so devoted to. And it's the same kind of thing in that we're being accessed by spirit and activated and opened in the ways that we are most likely to listen to and
Mm.
catch our attention the most. So one thing I want to go back to really quickly before we start to close up is this main character energy that you were talking about, because I love this concept and you were just starting to talk about it a little bit. So can you talk about what that means and how that presents for you?
So when I started going to source, instead of doing like past life regressions, I regress into source. And one of the things that I saw, and I've seen multiple times in my meditation, is that when you're there choosing out this syllabus, choosing out the opportunities that you're going to have in this life, who you're going to be born to, where you're going to be born, what physical body you're going to have, you're also picking out other actors that are going to come in and play roles for you. You are the main actor, you're the lead character in your own soul's journey. You have to be. We each are. We do play roles for other people, but it has to be an individual soul journey. We have to make the choices. We can't control anyone else. We can only control ourselves. We are the main characters in our own journeys. And to not honor that it's you're cheating yourself. To think that you're living for somebody else. Um, you're not giving your soul enough credit there. You can do wonderful things for other people. You could have a soul that is here to be of service, but you're still the main character in your own journey. So all of those other souls that come in have agreed to be supportive characters, as you've agreed to be supportive in their main character journey.
Which I
It's,
love. It's funny because for me, how this comes in is being the divine director.
yeah,
That comes through as like being the divine director. And for me, that came in when I was really being invited into taking full responsibility for my life, for my reality,
hmm,
and just not laying down on myself.
yeah,
Like you said, like giving your soul the credit, not laying down on myself, and being grateful for the teachers, even the shift heads that I call them, right? Like
yeah,
the shift heads that come in as shift heads, they're here to shift you. They're here
yeah,
to awaken you. They're here to open you into more of your unwavering self-actualization, your soul's embodiment. So I love that main character piece because it brings in this concept of responsibility and not hiding from any aspects of who we are or hiding from aspects that we are being invited into. And it's
right,
also offering grace to other people in their role and faith in their role.
yeah,
Like, oh, I feel so bad for that. Like, one of the things that would come up for me is I feel so bad for my kids that they had to deal with a mom who was sick for a few years, when they were little, and like the guilt that I had. And I was just like, their souls signed up for this. They are sovereign beings.
yes,
They decided to come on this journey to learn these lessons and to expand and grow in whatever way they were meant based on my experience, their father's experience, other people in their lives.
mm,
And it's beautiful because not only are we empowering ourselves, but we are empowering them. We're empowering
absolutely,
them to live their own journey and have faith that it is whole.
absolutely. And think you chose your parents. I chose my parents. It wasn't, I can't say they messed me up. That's ridiculous. I chose that because there were things that I was going to get the opportunity to do so that I could become the woman that I am and the woman I will continue to evolve into. That's amazing. It's we have so much more power than we give ourselves credit for. Every single soul. And to wash away their power by saying, oh, they're victims, or oh, that happened to them. Oh, I'm praying that they'll change. You're not taking their soul's journey into consideration. You're dismissing it, when in truth, their soul director knows exactly what's happening. And that doesn't mean we can't go in a direction away from where we would ideally want to go. Of course we can. We do have free will, but we constantly set up opportunities for us to grow. We don't have to, but we're constantly giving ourselves opportunities. And especially when you see children that are hurt, it's so easy to fall into the 3D and want to make them victims, to hate on everybody else involved. And it doesn't diminish the pain that we feel as humans. It gives it more context. It gives it more light. It is purposeful. It is intentional. And when you give it that power, you have the open eyes and the open heart to learn the lesson, instead of holding on to it as a scar for however long you want to carry that.
Well, that's exactly it. I'm so glad you brought that forward, because this reminds me of a situation with my son when he was really struggling in his relationship with his father. And it was, my husband just approached things from a very different perspective than I did. And he was harder on him, definitely harder on him. And I realized at one point when the tension was just unbearable to me, right? So of course I have some investment in wanting to fix this so that I can feel right. Anyway, I recognize that. But it was coming to this and I'm like, what can I do differently? So I connected with spirit and I said, show me where my energy is contributing to this dis-ease, and what I can do to shift it. And the first thing that showed me was, you're looking at your son as a victim.
Oh.
And when you're looking at your son as a victim, and I was saying, okay, I was giving him tools, I was helping him manage it, I was helping him use his voice, I was talking to him about, how can I support you? How can I advocate for you? When really it was like, why don't you just see this as an experience that's actually inviting him to step more into his own power?
Yeah.
He actually knows what to say and he knows what to do. Why don't you step back, have more faith in his ability to use his voice? And I was like, oh, wow, right? Like chills through my body, called out, and I was able to lean back and recognize, and it was wild how much shifted. It was wild how much shifted to that point, because there was a part of me that I subconsciously was invested in him being a victim. Right.
Yeah.
And that's gross. I was like, oh, right. And it's not gross. We don't have to judge ourselves for it. We just have to recognize it and receive the invitation and just fully embody it and say, okay, I'm humbled. I'm here. I'll shift.
And he came here to play that role for you as well, to give you that opportunity to learn, to have faith and trust, and to allow. That is a tough one. I have felt, I have hit a wall many times trying to save people from themselves. I was born with this mentality, like, if you just listen to me, I can get you there faster. Like, just trust me, I can make this painless. And I just kept hitting this wall with people, with my family, with my friends, where you have to stop. They're going to make their own decisions. And it was hurting me watching them, until I started to learn this lesson. Like, they're on their own journey. They're their own main character. You can only control yourself. And that includes how you feel. I can't make you feel any way. You're choosing to feel that way. And you can't make me feel any kind of way. If I'm getting angry, it's because I've allowed myself to get angry. I need to look at why I'm angry, not what you said or what you did. And that has helped a lot. That doesn't mean I don't still fall into that when I see things that I might, if you just let me in there and tweak them a little bit, I can make this so much easier for you. But it's a tough one. It's been a big soul lesson. If I have my syllabus, that was like one of those advanced courses that I've had to take several times.
Yeah, that's a repeat lesson. That's a repeat lesson that we're invited into, to recognize that the wobble really comes in when we're being invited into deeper conviction of our values
Yeah.
and deeper conviction and embodiment of our main character energy. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite, I'll end here with one of my favorite quotes that I used for years when I began my spiritual awakening journey, which was, I trust the journey of my loved ones and release attachment to it.
Oh,
I
that's
trust the
beautiful.
journey of my loved ones and release attachment to it, because that was a big lesson for me very early on. Was that, yeah, like stop gripping, stop trying to save everybody, stop, thinking that, because there's a little bit of cockiness in there, thinking that,
There is.
you're the authority and you can come in and tell them how it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, when we assume the main character, we free others to be their own. So
Yeah.
thank you
I
so much for this conversation. Is there anything else you
thank you.
feel like needs to be added before we close this up?
Have faith, but also be proud of yourself for agreeing to come to Earth at this time. This is the major league. We have practiced and trained for so long. This is the big show. And it is really exciting to be here. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Put me in, coach.
Exactly. That's the thing. Can you guys see like the chaos and the dissonance and all of that in the world at the same time that you feel the excitement and the
Yes.
momentum of the opening and the transformation,
Yes.
right? Both exist. So thank you, Chris. We are going to put the link to her podcast in the show notes, in addition to how you can reach out to her if you want to chat with her further. And we will see you very, very soon. Bye for now.